Thank you, Desmond. Here's the kickoff as Kent State won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. They will start their offense from the 20-yard line. If there was one bright spot for Kent State in the first half, it was their third-string running back, perhaps moving to number 1. That's Trayon Durham, 6'1", 250. He averaged about 5 yards per carry.
You look at that huddle right now, you can see a little more excitement. They're going to come out of the halftime, and they're going to have a little juice, a little fire. Spencer Keith is going to lead them. Their running backs are going to follow. Look for this drive to be very critical for the success of this team in this game and their season.
Durham will open the second half as the tailback. Big, powerful runner from Cincinnati Colerain High School gets the carry and slams forward. I mean, he went right between the center and guard, finally brought down by middle linebacker Arthur Brown.
This is an extremely prideful team. I mean, 19 of their 22 players on the 2 deep are within 220 miles of campus of Kent State. These are Ohio, Pittsburgh kids, very proud of what they can do on the football field. They're going to come out fighting in the second half.
Gain of 7 by Durham. He'll give it back to him. He has a hole on the right side, pushes Brown back, very close to a first down. They'll still need another yard for a first down where Lemur and Brown brought him down. But visiting with Hazel yesterday, one of his dear friends is Tony Dungy, who was a former coach of the Indianapolis Colts, led him to the Super Bowl championship. And he said the two of them have a philosophy. We want our A players to make perhaps the guys who might be C players, B players, and the B players, A players, where they'll make that transition, where Kent State will be a force again in the MAC. On 3rd and 1, Durham carries. Durham can't get the first down. Kansas State has stuffed them several times on 3rd and short, and this time it was the new tackle, Vi Latui, to bring him down.
Kent State came out very aggressive, running the football their first 2 plays of the second half. They come again on 3rd and short and just get stuck in the backfield. Great penetration from that defensive line. But Tui very impressive at the defensive tackle position thus far this evening.
Reinhardt, who's been a strong punter in tonight's ball game. Tremaine Thompson standing at his 30. The kick goes out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at the Kansas State team leaders in the first half, and Colin Klein looks like he will get the start to open the second half. Klein with 184 yards total offense, 3 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 2 rushing, ran for over 100. Hubert just 6 carries, and Chris Harper had 4 catches.
You've got to be impressed with Klein. I mean, think about what he did week 1 of the season. Did not play very well running or throwing the football. Very impressive first half for this starting quarterback.
Klein to the air on first down. Scrambles to his left. He shows great footwork. Now will run. And he actually gains a yard when he could have lost 11.
You know, there's a theme around the country, and that's younger or smaller athletic quarterbacks. And he stands 6'5", so on paper you wouldn't think he's very elusive and athletic, but you watch him right there, feeling the rush, feeling it as a quarterback, feeling pressure come, rolling out of it, getting as many yards as he can. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, gets out of bounds, doesn't take the hit. That's a very impressive play right there for number 7.
Bill Snyder said, you know, he's an intelligent young man, committed. He studies his opponents, really has put the work in this week to prepare for Kent State. Hubert almost escapes, but gains just 1 yard where Luke Batten makes the tackle. Batten has been their star linebacker in their first 2 games with 17 tackles.
Now watch Klein. He just rides the running back for as long as possible. He has the ability to pull it out or give it to him as they read the defense. So those 2 players really have to be on the same page, and they've been there thus far tonight.
3rd and 9. Sheldon Smith goes motion. Barely got the play off with just 1 second left in the clock. And Klein will run. And Klein will get the first down. As physical as he is, Yogi, My goodness, that's why you need two quarterbacks.
Well, he drops back, surveys the field. You see him now, and then bam, he gets into another gear. And that's what's so impressive about this quarterback. He has that extra gear, that ability to make a 4-yard gain into a 7, 10-yard gain and continue to move the chains.
They have it at their own 47-yard line. This time, Klein is ridden down for a loss of 3 on the play. A fine defensive play by Zach Hitchens, who has been a backup defensive end this year from Winchester, Ohio. There's that decision again you talked about.
And that right there is the first run they've had tonight that's been for a loss.
Wow.
And this defensive line, they're getting a beat on the running attack right now. They made some adjustments at the half.
Klein whips it to the right. That's the second time Chris Harper has dropped the ball tonight. Almost seemed like he's thinking of running with it before he makes that reception.
And you watch his eyes. At the last second, he's taking his eyes away from his hands. And as a receiver, they call it looking it to the tuck. That means when the ball is coming to your hands, you catch it, you watch it to your hands, and you follow it all the way to the tuck to make sure that you secure the football.
That will make it a 3rd down and 13. Kansas State has converted over 80% of their 3rd downs in this football game, dominating, leading 34-0. Looking to Tremaine Thompson now. Klein will scramble. He's out of bounds near the 50-yard line.
And those are the plays right there where they're going to go back on film and say, hey, why don't you just run out of bounds right there? You don't need to take that hit. You can see his right elbow, some blood on it from that last hit right there. You're definitely never going to question that young man's toughness.
No question, but I do believe that's why Bill Snyder will give Samuel Lamore reps, because once you get to the Big 12 Conference, there are some great defenses, hard hitting, and it's not one hit that sends a guy to the sideline. It's usually the 15 to 20. Their catch made near the 20-yard line by Adeyemi. We've got a time onto the field. 10 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter in Manhattan, Kansas. All Wildcats. For 34-0 Kansas State. Tune into FCS next weekend as our Big 12 coverage continues in Lubbock, where the Texas Tech Red Raiders host the Nevada Wolfpack in Week 4. Game time is set for 7 o'clock Eastern right here on Fox College Sports.
Excited to watch quarterback Seth Dagey next weekend and the defending WAC champs in Nevada.
Tech now 2-0, winning today. Up the middle, good solid run for a 1st down by Jaquise Terry. And Jaquise is a good story because he's a 2-time academic All-American, a 3.66 GPA, and he can run.
And his major's aeronautics. And that's impressive. But a physical player, very excited about this game tonight.
Here's the reverse. They will run Eric Adeyemi, and he is taken down for a long loss in the play, and it's Arthur Brown again, who's been from sideline to sideline.
Arthur Brown, what an incredible story. A transfer from Miami, Steve. Didn't play a snap, but was named team captain. He is a ball hawk, a relentless player. He's a local kid out of Wichita. Right now, he's just chasing down the football, doesn't stop. He's got a motor that is very impressive, and I know he's looking forward to next weekend down in Miami against the Hurricanes.
His 2nd tackle for a loss. There is a flag down on the play. Personal foul against the offense. But Kansas State's assistant head coach and defensive coordinator Chris Kosh has to be mighty proud.
Chop block. on the offense. Number 22, half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
That was Terry, the running back, the guilty party.
Steve, that's their 6th personal foul.
Ooh.
And I you know, we talked to the coaching staff last night, and Coach Hazley, he can handle a few things. He can handle losing a game if he has to, if he got out physical to the line of scrimmage, but he's not going to like 6 personal foul penalties.
That chop block is a tough call for the officials. This is Anthony Murray, and he has a nice little game, but they need to get to the 39-yard line for a first down. Adam Davis makes the tackle for Kansas State. Kent State trying to make strides. MAC will be strong this year with teams like Miami and Ohio University in the east, and Toledo and Northern Illinois in the west. Keith barking out the instructions as he faces a 3rd down and plenty. So they'll run the ball again to Murray, and he is taken down by Arthur Brown.
And when he comes for real. I mean, he is flying to the football, the linebacker position. But he's so impressive because he's very fundamentally sound, Steve. He's not trying to just make big hits. You see him, he reads pass, he sees the draw, he flies the football, squares up, makes a nice tackle, gets him to the ground. This is one of the top linebackers, not just in this conference, but the entire country.
We told you a Butkus and Nagurski watch list. He is their best athlete on defense. End over end punt. Chance for a good return. Tremaine Thompson down the right sideline. All the way to the 26-yard line. A terrific return after a bad punt by Matt Reinhardt. 34 yards on the boot, but 25 on the return. Net 9. Not good for the Golden Flashes. Interception return by David Garrett. Steve Physiak, Yogi Roth, Desmond Purnell with you, broadcasting on Fox College Sports. Colin Klein goes to John Hubert, and Hubert spins forward. You know, earlier tonight, Yogi, we were talking about Hubert, the sophomore from Waco, Texas, setting that high school area's rushing record, breaking LaDainian Tomlinson's mark.
Well, he ran for over 2,800 yards, 41 touchdowns just his senior year. Extremely impressive, but the best part was talking to him yesterday. He said he got a phone call from LT, and at first he didn't believe it. And then when he finally did, he was so shocked and shy that he didn't even know what to say.
Quality running back, just 5'7", 185. There's Klein again, reading, not giving it to Hubert. Klein keeps it himself and gains about 5 yards. There is a flag down near the line of scrimmage, and Klein loses his shoe. Colin has a little time. As
holding on the offense. Number 50, 10-yard penalty. Second down.
The referee calls the play against Nick Pitts, who in his first start has played a pretty good game. He has had a couple of fouls, though.
And this right now is vintage Bill Snyder. He knows his team needs to develop. He has to put his starting quarterback back in the game, get him a few drives in the second half, because they need to continue to grow and come together as an offensive unit, as a team in general.
This is not a quarterback controversy with Klein against Lemur. I just think you got to give both guys some reps, and particularly in a game like this. And this will be a sack, and it's Roosevelt Nix, who led the MAC in sacks last year and tackles for loss.
Roosevelt Nix, just an incredible motor. The staff called him a different breed of a player. He just bull rushes the offensive lineman, gets in there, gets away with a little face mask, Steve, but it's incidental. So the official did not call it. His hand immediately got away from it. That's the second time, though, tonight his hand has gone to the face mask.
Or he would have 2 sacks already.
A relentless player on the defensive line for Kent State.
Klein needs 28 for the first down. Rolling, looking downfield, and whips it to Broderick Smith for a long game, but they'll still need about 8 more yards for the first down. They complete the pass.
Watch the quarterback. He rolls to his left. This is a very difficult throw to throw across your body right there. deals it right to him, and a nice catch right there. Watch the quarterback. He steps into it, puts his left shoulder the direction of the receiver, throws a nice tight spiral. As he catches the football, he bobbles it just a little bit, but Broderick Smith comes down. The officials rule it a catch to set up this field goal.
Cantelli has been perfect tonight with 2 field goals. A short one from 23, and before that one, a long distance one from 49.
The previous play is under further review.
Was Broderick Smith juggling it as he went down?
Every play in college football is under review. Up in the booth, great job by the officials right next to us. Needs to be conclusive evidence to overturn this call. Klein rolls out to his left. It's a comeback route at about 18 yards. Broderick Smith catches it the first time, but then bobbles it just a little bit as Josh Pleasant plays the ball extremely well. He's got to have control. That's going to be hard.
It is, because we had a similar play last week in our Fox College Sports game. Tremendous contest between Kansas and Northern Illinois.
And that looked like it touched the ground. Expect them to overturn this call here, Steve.
I expect them to, too, because that was the play in Lawrence, Kansas last week where they threw a pass to the 1-yard line, and when they reviewed it, it appeared the ball was trapped by the receiver.
And I think for all the good things that Kansas State has done on offense tonight, they've struggled at receiver. They've dropped a few passes. They're going to have to make these plays next weekend down in South Beach against Miami as they get into Big 12 play with Baylor and all those other teams that are coming down the pipe on their schedule.
Klein has been flat brilliant running the football over 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. His passing numbers are over 50%, but remember this, fans, he has had 4 drops by his receivers. He's 8 for 14, including 4 drops, or he would be 12 for 14.
And he's throwing the ball with incredible confidence. You know, outside of that one throw that he threw his right that we talked about where he overstrided and completely missed his receiver, he's played very well. And I think when you look at his performance tonight, you'll say, wow, he really took this thing over, took the reins at this quarterback position, and is our junior captain on this team.
Yogi, when we're talking with Bill Snyder yesterday, Bill said he's developing his throwing skills, and I said, Coach, could you expound on that? And what did he tell us?
Well, he talked about all the hard work that he's done in the offseason and how it is a process to develop these, and especially a throw like he made right there. If you check out one more angle, looks like the ball right at the bottom of your screen pops out at the last moment. But Collin Klein has really developed those passing skills because of all the hard work he's put in the offseason. Throwing extra balls on Saturday mornings, doing all those little things that quarterbacks need to do to be successful at that position.
And he was talking about his progressions. Also, in the first half, you talked about his longer stride, maybe shortening that up. And technically, his release, is it a little slow?
His release is a little slow, it's a little long, but those are all things that you can correct. And the good thing is that he's playing with such confidence tonight that all you have to do is tell a quarterback who's playing with that confidence, hey, just shorten up your stride a little bit, shorten up your release.
When you coached at USC, you worked with some great quarterbacks, Matt Barkley, Matt Leinart, who won the Heisman Trophy, and you know Carson Palmer very well. How long did it take them?
After further review, the pass was incomplete. It'll be 4th down on the 45-yard line. Gamecock operator, please reset the game clock to 5:56. 5:56, please.
This also means that Kansas State will punt the football. But back to the question, how long did it take those guys to really emerge as true players? How many reps did they need?
Well, they're always great throwers, every one of them. They all had great intangibles, great leadership skills. But it wasn't until their 2nd, 3rd, and sometimes even 4th year in the program before they were mature enough to handle the mental, emotional, and the physical side of the game. Because especially at SC, I mean, the minute you signed, you're a household name. The minute you played, you're a Heisman candidate. And liking it to the quarterback, Collin Klein, tonight, his intangibles are through the roof. 6'5", 226 pounds. He can do anything he wants. He just got to tighten up the little things like his release and his footwork.
Punt to the sideline, picked off by Kent State inside the 15-yard line. That's where they'll start their offense. We have a timeout on the field with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third quarter. The Wildcats with a 34-0 lead. 1 yards rushing.
They've done such a great job of setting the tempo. In week 1 against Eastern Kentucky, the first play of their season, they had a 10-yard loss on a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. The first drive tonight, an interception by David Garrett for a 45-yard return to the house. They are trying to set the tone early defensively and erase memories from last year.
Duran goes up the middle and a strong gain of about 5-6 yards. Jordan Volker helping out on the tackle, number 57, a former walk-on from Newton, Kansas. Wildcats much quicker. We talked about their speed at linebacker in Lemur, Brown, and Walker, and the speed of the ends in Williams, Volker, and Davis. But Arthur Brown having a heck of a game already with 10 tackles after 7 in their opener. Almost intercepted. That was Trey Walker, and he would have scored.
Well, this defense, they know what Kansas State traditionally stands for, Steve, and so do you after going here. You know that their defense plays extremely well. Every single year they have the opportunity. A horrible year by their standards last year. Last in the nation, or second to last in the nation in total defense, second to last in the conference in rush defense like Desmond talked about in the open. They've got a big chip on their shoulder, and they're showcasing it tonight.
3rd down and 4. The run by Kent State, no. Stuffed by the Wildcat D-line and the linebackers. They say the ball hit the turf, but the whistles are blowing. David Garrett and Emmanuel Lemur combined for the hit. And despite really not having a rush defense last year in the Big 12 and almost no passing game, Kansas State, remember fans, beat Texas, beat UCLA, and blew out their arch rivals Kansas to win 7 games. This year they've got the new quarterback, new running back, new wide receivers, replacing 3 offensive linemen. They're still a work in progress. Here goes Thompson. He spins back to his left. He's got a wall down the left sideline. Finally taken out of bounds at the 40. 37 yards in the punt, but 23 on the return by the sophomore from Jenks, Oklahoma.
They're very excited about him. They return it to their sideline, picks up a huge block right there. And you watch this return man play extremely well. He's an explosive player in Tremaine Thompson. They really like him. And overall, the theme of this program, Steve, on special teams has been incredible. And since 1999, they have the 2nd most non-offensive touchdowns in Division I football, with 76 of them. Very impressive on the special team.
1 tonight on the interception return by Garrett, and almost 1 by Thompson. Klein stays in at quarterback. Reads the defense, slides forward, gets about 9 yards. They call him down at the 31, so it's a gain of 8. 2nd and 2, Salter on the tackle.
He's playing with such a confidence. I mean, that's a simple quarterback run, and he's taking his time. He's very patient. Is he going to pitch it? What's he going to do? So he has to put his foot in the ground and fall forward and get, 8-yard pickup right now. Very impressive performance every single snap, and a very focused game by Collin Klein right now.
Klein again with the read. Now slips it off to his wide receiver, Curry Sexton. The true freshman from Abilene gets the first down. They like his future.
Well, he is their possession receiver, does all the little things. Again, the patience. Watch him. He fakes the handoff. Oh, am I going to run it? No, I see my receivers open. I attack the line of scrimmage, get it out to him, and boom, the ball is moving. First down, Kansas State.
Sexton comes out. That's his first catch. First catch at Kansas State. Here's the run. Angelo Pease. Angelo Pease inside the 20-yard line. Leon Green brings him down.
This offensive line, they were worried about the interior unit. B.J. Finney at the center, Pitts at the guard, Freeze at the guard. These guys are playing very well, putting a body on a body. Colton Freeze such a massive frame, 6'4", 301. This senior finally gets his shot to be an everyday starter for this program and has taken advantage of it.
Back to Angelo Pease, left side, 15-10. Flag is thrown, so we might see a hold on this one to bring it back.
How about Pease?
Holding. Offense, number 37, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
And how about Pease? And when we talk about this young man, just another player on this team that was a former quarterback.
Yeah.
When you talk about the big picture of Kansas State recruiting, they go after athletes that are used to having the football in their hands. 5'10", 5'11" athletes. They can move them all over the field. Safety, running back.
Well, the penalty will push them back to the 29, making it 2nd down and 11. Hubert comes back in as the running back with Braden Wilson off to the left side. They'll change it to play, but remember, they might have to call a timeout. Yes, they do, because the 25-second clock had gone down to 1.
And those are the little things that Collin Klein's going to continue to do well and improve upon. Is it the right set offensively? If not, don't freak out. Just be calm. Call a timeout if you need to. But at the same time, maybe get out of the huddle a little bit quicker, and if there is an issue, put your offensive players in the right situation. So all these little things we're watching Collin Klein develop and mature at tonight. Very impressive.
You know, we were talking about Bill Snyder in the open, and he's got the stadium named after him because his brilliance. 150 wins in 20 seasons. We told you it took Kansas State 51 years to win 130 games. He did it in his first 16 years. 3 times he's been the National Coach of the Year. He has won 11 games 6 times. And this was a university for football that at one time was called Futility U.
And his first season, they're 1-10. I mean, he told us a great story yesterday. When he came to interview for the job, he said, give me an hour. Let me walk around campus and just talk to some students.
And what he found out was they were very prideful. They loved Kansas State. And walking around campus the last couple of days, I saw everybody dressed in purple.
Well, you are a former Wildcat, Steve, a proud alum.
Well, it's interesting because there's such a pride in some of the smaller towns, and here, whether it's Wamego or Wabaunsee or Smith Center or Westmoreland or Wakefield, the surrounding communities, they love Kansas State. We were in Junction City to meet with the Kent State coaches, and on the drive back, I saw that purple Wildcat on several barns, and I'm thinking, yeah, we are in Wildcat country. Here is Collin Klein, 3rd and 11. He'll scramble. He has room. Up the middle he goes and has the first down. Kind of banged his right leg, it looks like.
Well, it's 3rd down, and this is a design draw. He steps up in the pocket. His offensive lineman release. You see Pitts number 50 at the top of your screen, trying to find somebody to find a hole for his quarterback as he falls forward for the first down. Those are the types of things that Collin Klein brings to the table. You've got to defend against everything.
He's 2 yards rushing shy of his career high, 141. Did that last year against Missouri. The run up the middle, Hubert, not much. And I've got to ask you the question. There are several magazines that I opened about Big 12 football, and they said a young man like the name of Bryce Brown would be all Big 12 this year. We have not even said his name tonight.
Bryce Brown, he's the transfer from Tennessee. Played well last year for them, 101 carries, 460 yards.
2 years ago at Tennessee.
2 years ago at Tennessee, sits out last year. And everyone thought he would be the guy. But he is relatively in the doghouse of Coach Snyder. It's all about the work ethic, and he struggled in camp, and week 1 he had a costly fumble and hasn't seen the field tonight.
Hubert cannot escape. Terrific play by Luke Batten, the middle linebacker. If Hubert was able to get to the corner, he may have scored, but Batten denied him.
And Hubert and Pease, I mean, they know that there's a talented running back behind them in Brown. I mean, Brown has he's the fastest one according to Coach Snyder. He's very physical. He's got all the tools. But they have worked so hard and been so impressive in training camp, every day in practice. They are earning their time because they know how competitive the running back position is here.
Brown had 3 carries for 16 yards against Eastern Kentucky, but also had a costly fumble. The team turned the ball over 5 times. Klein swings it to the left. That was a rare time where he did throw left where he was not on target.
It's all the little things. You can see sometimes when you're a tall quarterback, you get almost bow-legged. You stand straight up. And remember, when you're a quarterback, every throw starts at your toes and it ends at your fingertips. And on that throw, you know, you can see him right there. The ball potentially might have slipped. He's frustrated, but he's got to bend his knees a little bit more. He can't overstride on those throws, especially those ones out to the sideline past the numbers.
Because Bill Snyder knows that there are things that this entire team, even though they're leading 34-0, they must clean up because they have to go to Miami next week. Cantelli for the field goal. Well, he has been dead solid perfect. Anthony Cantelli, the junior from Wichita, Cape and Mount Carmel, with his 3rd field goal tonight. Familiar tune at Kansas State. Play it after every single score. Wabash Cannonball. Kansas State trying to push the record to 2-0.
That's going to be a great game next weekend. At Miami, they're up 17-6 right now on the Buckeyes down there in Miami. I was there at practice on Thursday, Steve.
First start for Ja'Cory Harris, right?
First start for Ja'Cory Harris, and he's going to make this country a believer in him. I mean, he has improved so much from last year to this year. Had a chance to spend training camp down there with Jedd Fisch, their offensive coordinator, Brandon Carroll, Al Golden, and really watch this team come together and grow, and they have that Al Golden toughness to them.
Adeyemi to the 20.
And Adeyemi, he's going to make a lot of plays on special teams and on offense for Kent State. A very good athlete, transferred from Kentucky, sat out all last year, but a very versatile athlete for this team.
37-0 Kansas State. 16 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Spencer Keith remains the quarterback because he's the guy who has to lead them eventually into MAC play, which is a very tough conference. We told you about the Miamis and the Ohios, and Temple today almost knocked off Penn State. Keith in trouble, eludes the pressure, dumps the pass off to Justin Thompson. Short game.
And this Kent State staff, they're going to turn this around. Very impressive recruiting in their first 2 weeks on that campus of Kent State. They visited 177 high schools. Their coaches, those players, they're going to turn this thing around.
It's all Kansas State here in Manhattan. 37-0, led by their terrific quarterback, Colin Klein. Willie the Wildcat is still smiling. His team is up 37-0. Kansas State on defense as Kent State faces a 2nd down. Good gain here and very close to a 1st down is Anthony Murray, the true freshman from Spanaway, Washington.
Kent State, you got to give them credit. They continue to play hard. They're up-tempo on offense. They're getting the play from the sideline. They're playing confident even though it is 37-0 right now as we kicked off the 4th quarter.
They'll bring back in their big back Trayon Durham, who has 56 yards rushing, averaging over 4 yards per carry. He's been a real bright spot. 2 for 10 in 3rd downs as a team, and it is Durham for the 1st down. I like that. He's got great effort as we take a look at the stats through 3 quarters. And they're brought to you by Touch of Gray.
Talked about it in the open. One of the keys of this game would be time of possession, and for Kent State trying to go 50-50. They have not done that. Almost outgained by about 10 minutes or so, Steve, and that is why the total yards on the ground are so much different between the 2 teams.
That was similar to their first week where they had the football for 37 minutes of that game and almost lost to Eastern Kentucky. Spencer Keith looks downfield, fires, incomplete. Flag down.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 3. The spot foul with an automatic first down.
You know, Steve, that is exactly what Kent State needs to keep doing, throwing the football down the field. That is only their second time tonight where they threw a pass over 15 yards. Spencer Keith, he doesn't have the biggest arm out there, but you've got to stretch a defense, particularly when it's Kansas State and they're playing basically man-to-man on the outside and the safety's close to the line of scrimmage.
They were not able to throw the ball downfield in their first 2 games against Alabama and Louisiana. Now they'll run Murray, and Murray around the sideline and very close to another first down. But I was looking at their yards per catch. Matt Hurdle, first 2 games, 3 catches, 24 yards. Sam Kirkland, 10 catches, only 67 yards. Tyson Good, 4 catches for just 25 yards. So they were all short gains.
Yeah, they've got to continue to stretch this field and begin to stretch this field if they want to loosen up some defenses. Because right now they're just focusing on the run, stacking the box, and watching the linebackers make plays off of these defensive linemen who are disrupting the offensive line.
Keith with plenty of time, then wings it right, but well over the head of his receiver, who was well covered by Alan Chapman.
And this secondary, for as much as we just talked about Kent State trying to throw the football, you have to give them a lot of credit. I mean, these 2 safeties, they're all-American candidates. The corners have played extremely well tonight, and they're asked to play bump coverage, man-to-man every single snap, and no one has been beat tonight in this K-State secondary.
They have recruited cornerbacks well in the past. I mean, Terrence Newman, one of the greatest cornerbacks in the NFL today, played here from '99 to 2002. And they believe Garrett and Malone are very special as well. There's a good run by Kent State, and it will be a first down to the 29-yard line by Anthony Murray. He had over 3,900 yards in his career at Bethel High School in the state of Washington.
They've had a difficult time running the football thus far this season, having some success right now on the ground. On the season, Steve, coming into this game, they average 1.1 yards per rush. Tonight they're doing a little bit better, 25 carries for 78 yards heading into the evening.
I will say this, Arthur Brown is not on the field on this drive, and he has been a real force defensively for the Wildcats. 10 tackles, 2 for a loss. Keith throws, completes the pass to the 23-yard line, where he's knocked out of bounds by Nigel Malone, who had 2 interceptions in the opener 2 weeks ago. Yogi, defensively, Kansas State set the tone on the second offensive play by Kent State tonight.
An incredible play, an interception. He read the route, talking about David Garrett, jumped in front of the hitch, took it 45 yards for the score. And you rewind even to their first game of the season, the first play of the game against Eastern Kentucky, they had a 10-yard loss on a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. So they're trying to set the tempo early.
Ooh, this time the big man Trayon Durham is straightened up by the defensive line.
Well, this defense, I mean, they're up 37-0, and a lot of backups are in on the defensive line and the linebacker position. And everybody on that sideline right now for Kansas State, they want to make sure they preserve this shutout. Actually, Arthur Brown just checks himself
saw him come back
into the game. There's a pride on this defense.
They have shut out Kent State for 48 minutes. Arthur's going to blitz. Instead, Kent State runs, and they have about a 3-yard gain, very close to a first down. I believe they have it.
And this is a drive right now for Kent State where they can pull this drive out of the film and cut it up and just put it together and say, okay, guys, look at what we did. We moved the football against a BCS conference school. This is the 10th play of a drive. Look at what we can do if we just do our job snap after snap after snap.
From the Kansas State 20, Kirkland wide left. Keith throws back left, but underthrew his target, so it'll be a short gain. He got it to his tight end, Justin Thompson.
Try the old hide route with a tight end, sneaking him out the back door. Great coverage by that Kansas State defense.
They've been trying to roll away from the pressure by rolling the pocket with Spencer Keith.
It's where he's most effective when he gets in. He has the ability to sprint out to the right or his left, but the problem is it becomes two-man combination routes with only two receivers. They potentially get gloved by an outside linebacker, corner, and a safety.
Kent State trying to get on the scoreboard, being shut out by Kansas State 37-0.
Defense is full of playmakers. One of those guys, Nigel Malone. During week 1, he had 2 interceptions and got a chance to talk to Bill Snyder about the young man. He's a junior college transfer. Got a chance to transfer during the spring semester, and that has really helped him learn the defense, getting that early jump. And so far, it's paying huge dividends for the Kansas State defense.
He's covering on that one side. Now he's got to come over and defend the run. And slamming forward is young running back for Kent State, and that is Robert Holloman.
A lot of times cornerbacks don't get a lot of credit for what they do protecting the edge. You see Malone, he's on the outside. Biggest rule is don't let anything get outside. You watch him takes it on with his inside shoulder, forces the running back to cut back inside where he's getting pursuit from his safeties. Like Desmond said, an anchor on this defense.
3rd down and 3. They give it to their heavy back. That's Trayon Durham. I think they found themselves a good running back once they get to that MAC conference, because this guy's been averaging about 4 yards per carry.
And on 1st and goal, I think we might see him three straight runs right here. And this is a great drive right now for Kent State. They can put this thing together and say, look at what we did. We drove all the way down the field. We took a lot of time off the clock. This is what we can do offensively.
Because there have not been very many bright moments in recent years in Kent State football. They have the 2nd longest bowl drought in the NCAA, and here is Durham, and he smashes forward for about a 3-yard gain where Ty Zimmerman takes him on and brings him down near the 6.
Comes the 14th play of this drive for Kent State, and they know that the outcome, well, they're probably not going to win this ball game, Steve, but their entire sideline is standing up. They know what it means to score right now, to not get shut out by Kansas State.
They mark him down at the 7. Play action, and they've got the sack, bringing him off the edge. Meshach Williams. He was one of the speed rush ends they recruited.
They said he was a major steal in recruiting. He stayed home, and that means he did not pursue the running back. He did his job, was extremely disciplined. You see him at the bottom of your screen, and he makes a huge tackle in the backfield. He's fired up, and Steve, when you listen to the local radio, they talk how excitable this young man is for this defense.
Volker, Williams, Davis, all talented defensive ends. Kibble and Latouille have been doing it on the inside for Kansas State tonight.
Second timeout of the half. Kent State.
Kent State uses their 2nd timeout of the half. We've got a break in the action as well. Just 8 minutes and 29 seconds left in this football game. Kansas State with a 37-0 lead. 37-0 Kansas State. Big 3rd down for Kent State. They were 2 for 10 converting 3rd downs. They have converted their last 3 on this drive. Trips to the right side. Will Keith go that way? He rolls that way, throws back left. His tight end Justin Thompson with a load of blockers in front of him will get him down near the 1-yard line. So it'll be 4th and goal, and you know Kent State's gonna go for it.
Well, Daryl Hazel said he loves these moments as a head coach. They fake the sprint out where they've gone all night long, dumps it back to his tight end on a simple slip screen. He takes it, he's just yearning to get to that end zone, almost makes that right knee touches the ground as he reaches across the goal line. See, but this team right now for Kent State, a ton of pride right here, and they're gonna go back to this moment all season long if they get into the end zone.
Pride on both sides. Kent State wants to score. Kansas State wants the shutout. Flags thrown.
Delay game on the offense.
That hurts.
5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
4th and goal now from the 6.
And that's on your quarterback right there. You've got to see that play clock, Steve. And now this completely changes the play call. But sometimes when you're down inside the 1-yard line, you want a little breathing room. You have more calls, you have more plays you can go to. Offensive coordinator Brian Rocks up in the booth.
It has been 5 years since the Wildcats last pitched a shutout, and it was against Florida Atlantic.
Kansas State, number 94. That penalty is enforced half the distance. Automatic 1st down.
Wow. Well, that changes things because somebody on Kansas State got a little too greedy, and we have a personal foul after the delay of game. So it'll be 1st and goal, and Kent State will have 4 cracks with that big halfback Trayon Durham at 6'1", 250. Well, no, it'll be half the distance to the goal, I beg your pardon, at the 3-yard line. They've got a fullback, Urjevic, in front of Durham. So we've got 500 pounds of fullback and halfback. Durham will not get in. Stopped at the 3, and it was Arthur Brown leading the way again, number 4. Flag down.
Personal foul. Shot block on the offense.
Why is that such a tough call?
Well, it's so hard right now because last year you were able to chop block,
Yeah.
but the rule is you have to be engaged with the defender before you can go low. And if you go in motion, you are not allowed to block back and go and cut block or chop block, as the official said, the defender. Right now on this offensive line, they have you're allowed to cut, but you're not allowed to come back and chop block, as you see right here.
Yogi, so many athletes have been taught that way to block going up, so they have to change their habits. Keith looking downfield, throws underneath to his tight end Thompson, and Thompson gets it inside the 10. Lemur brings him down.
Coming up on their 18th play of this drive, Steve.
18 plays in this drive alone. A lot of penalties. Keith still has plenty of time on the clock. It's wound down to 12 as he changes the play. Swings it left, incomplete. Good defensive coverage by Nigel Malone as the pass was intended for Sam Kirkland.
Well, this is a very interesting situation right now. You're on 3rd down. They call it a 4-down situation. Do we have 2 downs to get in the end zone, or do we just have 1? Are we going to kick the field goal and try to break this shutout with just 3 points? As an offensive coordinator right now, I think you want to throw the football. Try to get a few yards right now. Try to see if you can get half, and then give yourself a good position to say, all right, do we want to run it in? Do we want to kick it? Do we want to take another crack at it through the air?
Play clock down to 4. They get it off in time. Keith scrambles, wings it to the end zone. Incomplete. He's out of bounds. Kirkland said, hey, I caught the football, but young man, you were out of bounds when you caught it and not pushed out by the defense.
And that was a rope by Keith to the corner.
Well, he was dragging his back foot. When I first saw it, I thought he was well out. But watch that left foot drag.
Only need to get 1 foot in, and Daryl Hazel, he is preaching his case to the officials.
I think they're going to review it.
They should. Every play.
Kent State.
We'll take a timeout as well with 5:58 remaining in this football game. Kansas State with a 37-0 lead for now. But will they overturn?
Body control, eye control, understanding to get that 1 foot down. In fact, Steve, I think he gets both feet down right here. Drags the left foot in first, then he drags his right, catches it. We always talk about the front shoulder roll. That's when you catch it. And if you're diving, you roll over that front shoulder.
Complete pass. Kent
Wow.
State has no more challenges remaining in the game.
So that was a challenge for you back at home. Every coach has a challenge. If they lose the challenge, then they are charged with a timeout. So Kent State, no timeouts left. And I got to say, that one must not have thought there was conclusive evidence to overturn that call, which puts us in a very interesting situation now. 4th down. Pardia wants to score 3 to not get shut out, but the pride in Kent State, they want a touchdown.
Looking to avoid their first 0-3 start since the 2000 campaign. They'll take the loss, but they want to avoid the shutout. 4th and goal from the 9. Keith steps up, whips it, incomplete. No flag. Garrett was all over Adeyemi. And the Wildcats celebrate their potential shutout with just 5:53 left. They have not had a shutout in 5 years. So they go 19 plays and they go 79 yards, take 9.5 minutes off the clock and come up with nothing.
And this Kent State staff's going to come back and say, men, it's about execution. We didn't do the little things to put points on the board. And Steve, on the other side, Kansas State, they are elated right now, preserving a shutout with 5:53 left.
Samuel Lemur back in at quarterback. Plays Colin Klein. Here's a run by Angelo Pease. Or is this Robert Rose? Let's go to Desmond Purnell.
Guys, the sidelines erupted after that final fourth down play. The Kansas State defense is on a mission. They're out to prove that they are a force to be reckoned with after finishing 11th in total defense in the conference a year ago. The crowd was on their feet. All the players were on their feet as they ran off the field. There were high fives all around, coaches included. This defense is for real tonight.
Thank you, Desmond, because they took their shots last year. We told you, dead last against the run defensively. And this is Robert Rose. This young man's a great story. He's only 5 feet 4 inches tall, 173 pounds, a sophomore from Miami, Florida, and he's playing Division I football. Looks like a little
Personal
kid out
foul.
there.
Face mask on the defense. Number 26. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So Rose has him going. Look at this. Look at his thighs.
They said he's extremely physical, loves contact, and he's getting his opportunities right now and taking advantage of them.
He's the pinball wizard. Just banging around that defense. First down for Kansas State at the 42. Rose again. Nothing this time, but Kent State's tradition. They're trying to do exactly what Kansas State was able to do. I mean, the last league title for Kent State was 1972. That was also their last bowl. Only New Mexico State has gone more years without playing in a bowl, 51. Kent State, and that was a football team coached by Don James. Jack Lambert was a player on it. Nick Saban, Gary Pinkel. Great football team. So Kent State has had a history, but it goes way back. Samuel Lemur, the senior from West Palm Beach. Quarterback will run the football up the middle to near the 48-yard line as they grind that clock down. Kent State has no timeouts left. They're nearing the 4-minute mark of this football game. Kent State, as a matter of fact, has 7 players in the NFL, including some great ones like Josh Cribbs, the wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, and Antonio Gates, who likely will be a Hall of Famer for San Diego, and the great linebacker for Pittsburgh, James Harrison. It's third down for Samuel and Kansas State. Or whips it, gets the first down near the 42-yard line.
A very impressive performance tonight offensively, Steve, by Kansas State, but a lot of people have been impressive here at Kansas State, you being one of them.
Well, let's don't even go there.
Back in
I was a wannabe athlete that wound up talking about it. Rose remains the running back, gets the carry, and is taken down for a loss on the play.
Steve, I think it's important for everybody to know the influence you have on this campus. I mean, it started back in when you graduated in 1977. It hasn't ended.
Oh my gosh.
As we look at the photos, Steve, Guinness Book of World Records. Can you explain?
I went 100 straight hours of a radio marathon with my friend Gavin Kidd to my left, and we had a blast. But the guy whose record we broke in England went 220 hours 2 weeks after that, so we were not awarded the official record. But there was a time where I was very tired, and after it, I slept 22 hours straight. Here goes Samuel Lamore, and he slides off the left side. But this is a great area and very full of pride. Fans, let's take a look at our game summary brought to you by Russell Athletic. First quarter, that interception by Garrett for the touchdown, and Klein was magnificent running the football and leading this team.
Well, he really took over tonight. An average at best performance in week 1 against Eastern Kentucky, but he finished the game off by throwing the game-winning touchdown to Chris Harper with 1:39 left in the ballgame to win 10-7. And that confidence, that moxie that we talked about in the open carried over from the first snap tonight for their quarterback, Colin Klein, and expect him to continue to play well for this team.
We may have had a false start. We'll see from referee Matt Loeffler.
False start. Offense. Number 75. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Yogi, John Curry, who is the athletic director of Kansas State, came into our booth to just say, hey, thanks for being here. And I said, what are you most proud of? And he said, the fact that we sold out our opener against Eastern Kentucky, and we sold out today's football game against Kent State. And he said, remember, we also have the #1 graduation rate in the Big 12 Conference, and they're very proud of that with their athletes and their students. It's a third down continuing, and this is Rose trying to go to the right side, and he bangs into a couple of Kent State defenders and rocks him for a couple more yards. Let's take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam.
And it happened early in the game. The second play of the ball game was a pick 6 by David Garrett. He jumped a hitch route and took it to the house to get this Kansas State defense off to a quick start. The crowd was into it, and Colin Klein and that offense took over the rest of the way.
It really lifted this crowd, gave them a great deal of energy, and then Klein took off after that. Colin Klein had 2 drives that he led his football team 95 or more yards. One was a 95-yard drive. The other was a 98-yard drive. Kent State with a lot of fouls, and we'll see another flag being thrown. This will be a delay of game as we're down to 46 seconds left.
And I think Kent State, while they're not happy with their performance, there's some positives that they can take out of the night. They put together an incredible drive, 18 plays. They did not score. They came up with 0 points.
Trayon Durham,
freshman running back. And I think their quarterback, he made a few plays tonight that you could say, wow, this is where you played well. Let's see if we can do this time and time and time again.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Kansas State has one more, and that will be at Miami. Then they will come back, and they have to take on the Big 12 and Baylor October 1st. And since 1990, K-State has won 60 of 67 regular season non-conference games. There's the punt. High arcing kick. taken fair catch at the 18-yard line by Adeyemi. Time out of the field. 39 seconds remaining in this football game as the Wildcats trying to go 2-0 on the young season. Purnell, waning moments of this college football game on Fox College Sports. And Durham goes for about a 5-yard gain. This has been probably the one brightest moment for Kent State tonight. A young man who could be a force in the future in the running game. He has over 70 yards rushing tonight.
Great story. Committed to Wisconsin. They wanted him to play fullback, and he said, no, I want to be a tailback. I'm going to Kent State.
Wise choice. They got the first down, but they probably will have just one more play after this as they stop the clock to move the chains because they are out of timeouts.
And I got to say, very impressed last night spending time with Darrell Hazell and their staff. They're going to get the thing turned around at Kent State.
Spencer Keith wings it to the left to Kirkland, and that will be the final play of the game as Kansas State pushes the record to 2-0, and they have their first shutout in 5 years. Bill Snyder walking across that field to shake the hand of Darrell Hazell, who will try and get better before the MAC opens. And they are in a tough East Conference with Miami and Ohio and Temple, and the West is loaded with Toledo and Northern Illinois. But Bill Snyder, he's in the Big 12, and everybody's strong this year in the Big 12 Conference.
This team, they are very impressive. Two totally different programs from week 1 against Eastern Kentucky, where they squeak away a 10-7 victory, to tonight, where they simply dominate all 3 phases of the game, 37-0. And it's going to be a great game next weekend down in Miami against the Hurricanes.
That will be very difficult. Let's go to Desmond Purnell.
Coach, we appreciate you staying up past your bedtime. First and foremost, talk about the player, quarterback Colin Klein. 139 yards, 2 off his career high. How impressed are you with his play tonight?
Well, as I said after the first half, and I feel exactly the same way, you know, he played well. He ran the football well. He threw the ball reasonably well. He's got a lot of room for improvement. The second half was not, really not a good half for us offensively. We only put 3 points on the board. Had the ball inside the 50-yard line, turned over to us the first 3 possessions in the third quarter and couldn't score with it. So he understands we've got some work to do.
Now, this is Kansas State's first shutout since 2006. Assess the play of your defense tonight.
Played very well, and I was really pleased with them down here at the late in the ball game, where they held. It seemed like it took forever and ever and ever to get plays, everything to take place. But I thought we played well. We played well when we had to play well. We defended against the run. We gave up a little on the pass, but and they were shorter things. We didn't give up any of the deep balls. And the good thing is they didn't get any points.
Awesome. Congratulations tonight, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Bill Snyder, and as you know, perfectionists are always looking at the areas that they need to improve, even in 37-0 victories.
It's the reason he has 151 victories right now as the head coach of Kansas State. A dominant performance. Look out for this team in the Big 12, Steve. They are dominant on all sides of the football right now.
It's been great to be back in the Flint Hills. That's it from Manhattan, Kansas. The Best Apple, where the final score is 37-0 Kansas State. Garrett with a pick 6, Colin Klein with a marvelous game. Be sure to join us next Saturday on Fox College Sports for more Big 12 football action as Texas Tech hosts Nevada at 7 o'clock Eastern. For Yogi Roth and Desmond Purnell, I'm Steve Physiak. You've been watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by KFC on Fox College Sports.